has been called off. I got that news, as you did, from Adam Schefter's Twitter feed. Shefty, what can you tell us? How in the world did this deal that was made on Friday night get called off on Tuesday?
Well, this is about a medical issue, Greeny, and this is about how different sides interpret the condition of Maxx Crosby's knee, which underwent surgery 8 weeks ago. He was on crutches until just last week. Now, in speaking with his doctor who performed the surgery, Neil Elatrosh, overnight, he felt like the timing of the physical could have been pushed back. But he does believe that Maxx Crosby is on schedule, and they're hoping to have him ready for the start of the regular season. But the issue is, Maxx Crosby was in Baltimore on Tuesday for a physical. He met with doctors. Doctors took scans. Doctors looked at scans. And based on what they saw, the Ravens did not feel comfortable to pass him on that physical, which nullified the trade. Obviously, there are outside doctors that consulted as well, including the Cowboys surgeon, Dr. Cooper, who performed the surgery on Patrick Mahomes, who performed the surgery on Malik Neighbors, who many teams and NFL players look to for guidance. So if and when the Ravens decided to back out of the deal, it also came after consulting with the Cowboys doctor, Dr. Cooper, whatever was said. Now, the Raiders feel like the Ravens got cold feet, but the Ravens feel like they had a huge purchase. They invested 2 first-round draft picks, and once they had him in their building and reviewed all the tests, they were not comfortable moving ahead. The only analogy I could use is if you were to go buy a brand new house and it looked beautiful and you toured it online and then you agreed to purchase the home and you had an inspector come through who said he was worried about this and worried about that, would it make you nervous about executing that deal? Probably. And the Baltimore Ravens didn't like what they heard, and they backed out of the deal. So now that leaves us, as the new league year opens today, in certainly an unusual spot, because Maxx Crosby is now a Raider. His money is back on their books. They're honoring their contracts. And the Ravens now don't have their pass rusher, but they have their first-round picks back.
That's exactly right. So the 14th pick that the Ravens had traded this year to the Raiders stays now with Baltimore, plus next year's #1. And Crosby, at least for the moment, is a Raider. Let me bring my group in, and Shefty, stay close by as we talk about a lot more here. Graziano, we were talking in the meeting this morning. There are a lot of teams. You see Tannenbaum is with us, too. A lot of teams that are watching this with interest because, A, Maxx Crosby becomes potentially available again. B, all these other signings. Every time we say, well, this deal has been made, but it can't become official until 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. That's like the terms and conditions on the app, right? No one ever actually reads them. You just check the box and agree to it. And you forget that it matters. But it actually does. None of the deals that we have been talking about, that Shefty has been reporting on, going back to last Friday, are actually official yet. So everything feels like it's at least a little bit in play.
No doubt. And we've seen in years past players back out of deals that were agreed to during the negotiating window because they changed their mind or, wanted to go to a different team. So it's very important for people to know until 4 o'clock Eastern time today, nothing that's been reported is finalized, including any trade, when none of the trades can be made official until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So what you have here is a situation where, the analogy of buying the house is a perfect one. My understanding is that the Ravens were concerned about the long term. Like Maxx Crosby is recovering from surgery on his knee. It's going to take him a while to be ready to play. My understanding is he should be ready to play by the start of the season. Is the start of training camp possibly in jeopardy? Yeah, I think that depending on who you talk to. But the Ravens felt like we're giving up 2 first-round picks, and this could affect him long-term in terms of how long he can play and how long he can play at the top of his game. So they felt like that was too high a price to pay. And now, do the other teams like the Cowboys that were in on Maxx Crosby call? Doesn't sound like the Cowboys want to go down that road. And if they or anybody else did, the price is certainly not going to be what it was last Friday.
That's right. And so all these other teams that thought they or may have been interested in Maxx Crosby have made other arrangements. Yes. Trey Hendrickson remains out there. All those possibilities. Let me get the guys in before Mike Tannenbaum confuses us even further with all the machinations that could go on. Sinead called the basketball thing like a global pause. Like the moment you heard this, which I know was on the flight with Shefty.
I slapped Shefty because we were on the airplane.
Yeah. Tell me, what was the first thought in your head? What is your first reaction to this?
Was it real? Is it possible? How could a team do this? I'm a viewer right now. I'm not an expert in this, so I have so many questions of Well, when the surgery happened, was it deemed a successful surgery? To have concerns about him long term, how did you not have concerns about him long term on Friday when you executed the trade, but then you do have concerns long term today? That would be that drastic. I understand that if he had a meniscus repair,
right?
though, but he had a meniscus repair. Did you? Of course, you're going to have long.
Are all those exactly the same?
I would imagine they're somewhat similar. It's a meniscus,
but one way or another.
So, like, what changed from Friday that drastically? I understand it, but how does it go from executing this to, oh my gosh, we can't do this?
I'm told Schefter can clarify that. Schefter, go.
Well, I think there were questions about Maxx Crosby's knee when the trade was agreed to. And then he was brought in for the physical, and those questions became exacerbated. Now, you heard Dr. LATEST himself talk this morning. I put it out on Twitter, on social media, where he said there were issues with the meniscus, cartilage, and bone. So it was a serious surgery. And Dr. LATEST said he is on schedule. But the problem is the timing of the physical. The timing of the physical is not in 2 or 3 months when Maxx Crosby would be further ahead. It was yesterday when the Ravens have to make a decision about whether to surrender as much compensation and salary as they would have. And again, after the medical exam, they were not comfortable doing that.
Neat.
Those decisions are never, or those conversations are never like written in stone. So we have to understand that they're always pending some sort of decision. I think it's important to understand that this is a legacy defining, Super Bowl defining type of decision. 2 draft picks is a lot.
2
2 first-round draft picks is a lot. Maxx Crosby as a full-time starter, fully impactful, is a lot. So I understand why you would be trepidatious. Like, I don't know. I will tell you, the Raiders, yes, we want to make that trade. It's a big if he shows up and we feel like we're going to get that value, because if he comes in and he's not the player you expected, there goes whatever end of this Lamar window that you're thinking, it's gone.
Right.
It's gone. It's out the window.
Can I ask another question? Just, Coach, Schefter's talking about the timing of the physical.
Right.
Is it a possibility to then both parties sit there and go, we will do another physical in May, and then we can readdress this trade? Is that something like...
Mike Tannenbaum is already nodding, shaking his head no. Let me get Mike T. Go ahead, Schefter, go.
Well, again, the problem is the league year opens now. Contracts are being executed now. Players are available now. Decisions have to be made now. And Maxx Crosby had surgery 2 months ago and was off crutches 1 week ago. He got off crutches a week ago, and now the Ravens are trying to decide whether to give up 2 first-round picks. And again, they thought they were comfortable doing it until they met with him, and then they got queasy once they did.
That's exactly right. And so they can talk about doing anything they want, anytime they want, but every other team can get involved now, and the Raiders still control him at this moment. Mike T., you have lived these as a general manager. Take us through exactly what's happening and all of the tentacles that spin from it.
Sure. So, again, just quickly going back, a trade is a contract between Team A and Team B, and there are conditions like passing the physical. So that's why, Dano, you can't have it in the future. The paperwork says you report and pass now, not, let's say, in May.
Okay.
Now, famously, if you go back a decade ago, Drew Brees failed the physical of the Miami Dolphins, obviously passed the physical of the Saints. The rest is history. So I believe he will pass another team's physical, just given the subjective nature of the process. What's fascinating to me, Greeny, I go to 2 places. Ironically, number 1, Baltimore, and here's why. Now that Maxx Crosby is back with the Raiders, at least for today, $30 million goes back on their cap from a cash standpoint. So therefore, they have all these other deals they have to process. Tyler Linderbaum, Kwity Paye, Nakobe Dean. They may not be able to afford, from a cash standpoint, another $30 million. If I'm the Ravens, ironically, I'm calling Tyler Linderbaum right now and saying, hey, we can make you an offer, maybe not as good as the Raiders, but you can retire a Raven. We have Lamar. And until 4 o'clock, that's completely on the table. We could go to Dallas. Dallas could call up Green Bay and say, you know what? We've changed our mind. We're not doing the Rashawn Gary trade, and get something done with Maxx Crosby. Adam alluded to it. Dr. Cooper, Dallas's doctor, is very well thought of. and he may have a different point of view on Maxx Crosby's knee. So between now and 4 o'clock, there's a lot of tentacles that could unfold here.
What we're just pointing out here are all the things that could happen.
Right.
Bear in mind, no one is saying these things are going to happen or are happening, but these are all possibilities until 4 o'clock today. Nothing is